It's maddening. There's junior hires everywhere.
And yes, Katie, we are fine. But now everybody knows where we're going.
Let's go. Go, 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 go.
For the first time, this is the Super Worthless podcast. You guys know me. I don't need to say any more. But once again, this is the first podcast we'll ever do. And frankly, I don't know about you, Mr. Nathan Worth. I'm
feeling 22.
Yeah, okay, well, maybe. Are you actually 22?
No.
I didn't think
20.
so. I'm 23, so that makes a big difference. I posted this on Snapchat earlier today. This is probably the most excited I've been to legitimately do anything like this that I've ever done, like, for anything. Like, this is actually something I've been excited to do ever since we came up with the idea. It's like, let's just do this. I'm like amped.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right. So basically the premise of this show is really going to be, we're just going to talk about whatever the heck we want. And it's going to kind of go off the cuff sometimes. And then we'll also just kind of do whatever. So granted, we're pretty heavy in sports, so that's going to dominate a lot of our stuff. But it can also just be story time and just random crap. We can also rant. We're also going to do literally everything. So it could see, well, actually I say we could see where this takes us. We don't know where it's going to take us. We could get famous. We could also, famous. Yeah, we might get famous. We might not go anywhere in life, and we might still be stuck where we're at.
We'll see. We'll find out.
All possible options. So, at the risk of beating a dead horse, you can, why don't you talk about really where you're coming from, kind of who you are, just kind of introduce yourself into the mix.
All right. Well, I'm from a cornfield in the middle of Northeast Ohio.
Simple as that.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that's both of us, except I'm just Western Ohio, because it's just, at least you have hills over there. Here,
too many hills.
Yeah,
to
but
be
over
precise.
here it's about as flat as a pancake. I can't speak. It's Thursday, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Things just aren't gonna come out straight. That doesn't mean I'm gay. It just means it's not gonna come out right.
Open mouth.
Exactly.
Insert foot.
Yeah, exactly. All the words that need to be said are not being said. All right. So yeah, you said you're 20. You're going to Kent State, right?
Yep.
What for?
Criminal justice.
Criminal justice. I think that's what Jarrett said he was going to do when he starts at Ohio State this fall. Because he went to boot camp last summer for Army Reserves, so he's in the military, but he's doing criminal justice stuff, so that's pretty neat. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's, yeah, like what does that entail really? Because I've, like, people are just like, oh, criminal justice. I'm like, okay, so what are you gonna do? Just like CSI Miami type stuff or whatever? Like, what does that really entail?
Well, that's more science. So okay. What this degree would do is, pretty much if you just need to go to college and you want to be a cop or something.
Okay. To Mr. Popo, man.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's legit. All right. So, yeah, there's really, granted, this is our first show, so it's really just, like, and I think we said this last time we were kinking it out, just, we're going to work out the kinks. It's going to be rough, and we'll get a flow into this. We'll kind of get our own thing going. But, yeah, just, I don't know what you have been dealing with really the last few weeks, but I think for me, just my own little story time, I guess I would say, is just dealing with this, buying a new car. So I've been trying to get a new car. So what happened was, like, on Facebook, because I can say this now because I've dealt with the whole situation. I haven't wanted to say anything on social media, which I haven't at all, and I still haven't. But what happened was I went and bought a car. Let's see, it was at the beginning of May. It was in the first week of May, I think. It was actually the beginning of the second week of May because I had just lost my job at iHeart at the end of the first week of May on May 4th. So I went on Facebook. I was like, oh, hey, look, someone is selling a Volkswagen Jetta, and it was red for like $1,600. I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. They were telling me on the post because the wife posted it, and the dude knew what was up with the car. The wife posted it saying, it's like, oh, it just needs new wheel bearings. It just got the engine light checked, so like everything's good. It's like, okay. So of course, selling it online, everything pretty much is as is. You're taking the car how it is. I went there like 2 days later. The guy begins to give me the spiel of what is all wrong with the car. That's when I regretted that decision of buying the car. Because he tells me, it's like, oh, hey, look, the AC isn't working, but it just needs plugged back in. I'm like, okay. It runs fine. It ran fine sitting idle. Then I get in the car. He opens it up. Smells like cigarette smoke to no end. I'm like, oh my, I hate smokers, or just smoking. I don't hate smokers. If you're a smoker, I don't hate you. Like that would be bad. If you vape, we get it, you vape.
We get it, you vape.
We get it, you vape. But no, he seemed like a cool dude. I was like, oh, okay, just kind of like they lived in like an apartment complex down in Bell Fountain. So I check it out, and it's like, it's okay. There's a couple, like one little rust spot on the left front fender well, a little bit of clear coating issue. Not bad. The car looks fine. It looks great. So I get in. The second I come down the next day, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. I'll test drive it. And I was like, dead set. I was like, this has got to be better than my car. Boy, was I wrong. Because I hop in. I'm pretty sure 75% of the speakers inside were blown out. The AC blew out warm air when it was only on like the fourth setting. It's like 0 off and then 1, 2, 3, and 4. It only worked on high. And then when it blew out, that air smelled so bad. I was like, it didn't smell like cigarette butts. It smelled like that mixed with like death. I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it. It sounded so bad. Smelled. The speaker sounded bad. And then that right rear wheel bearing, I think that needed replaced. That's just grinding when you drive. I was like, this is annoying. I don't like it. And of course, after I buy the car, I'm like, you know what? The wheel bearing and the AC, like that can be fine. Like that can be plugged in, replaced, whatever. Like that's relatively easy. I get on the highway driving home, and I don't know why this didn't happen when I was test driving it just in town, driving less than 30, 35 miles an hour. But when I tried to hit third gear, like as I'm like accelerating on the exit or on the entrance ramp onto the highway, onto 33, and I punch it, and it hits third gear, it goes like back into fourth. I was like, please do not tell me you just went into neutral. I was like, oh my gosh. I was not ready for it. And so I was like, okay, maybe that was just a one freak thing because it was in drive. But it also has like a manual mode where you can shift the stick over and then push up and down to, it's like a semi-automatic weapon, assault rifle. No, it's like I can shift. But then it also has sport mode. So I was like, okay, well, maybe that was just a weird freak thing. So I get up to Indian Lake and Russell's Point, and I slow down because it's like 45, and I try to accelerate. It does it again. I'm like, okay, this isn't good. So I like pull off on the one of the side roads, throw it into sport mode as I can back up, and the thing probably jerked my head so hard that I thought I had a concussion when my head hit the headrest. I was like, good Lord, I just got smacked into another dimension. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go manual and shift by myself. That was okay. I'm like, I don't want to drive manual. This is a car. It's a 2007. I shouldn't be doing this. And so I was like, you know what? I talked to him. I was like, hey, the transmission is completely junked. All this other stuff that you didn't tell me was wrong with it. The speakers are bad. The radio sucks. was like, the AC, when it's, I guess, I don't know if he said it needed unplug or plugged back in. The air was coming underneath the driving column. So it was air just coming underneath the steering wheel, like through the firewall. I'm like, that shouldn't be happening. Because like I'll drive by a semi, whoosh, warm air. I'm like, nah, I don't like this. This feels unsafe. I was like that. I'm like, I actually feel more unsafe than my current car, which just needs some sway bars, and they're not even that busted. Just the left front strut's completely gone, and I have no AC in a car that's black with black leather interior. I'm like, I can survive with this car. The Jetta, I'm like, I might die. So all those things are wrong with it. Of course, I get back to my house, and I look at the title, was not notarized. So I'm like, I have a car, and I can't drive it. Which is just dumb. So I was like, I told him, I was like, hey, can you guys come up tomorrow and sign it? And then I told my mom about all the things that were issues with it, and a couple other friends said, like, yeah, you should probably ask for your money back. So I was like, okay. And my mom was like, well, if they don't want to do it, tell them we'll get a lawyer involved. I was like, you sure you want to do that already? She's like, yeah, just do it. I was like, okay. So I tell him, I was like, and she told me to text him, like, hey, I have issues with the car, and I want to bring it back and get my money back. If there's a problem, can my lawyer contact you at this number? And he's like, yeah, he can contact me. I was like, that's the vibe I got from that text. I was like, maybe I shouldn't have texted him this soon, because this was before he would have come up anyways. I was like, oh, I made a mistake. And so thus began, I have to figure out what I'm going to do, because I have the title. So I talked to a lawyer. He's like, nope, it would cost way too much for you to do it. It would cost more than what the car's worth. So in the end, it would be me losing more money than what I spent to buy the car. I'm like, fine. So I went back down yesterday, got it notarized, had my friend Alex drive the car back. And he was like, oh, yeah, I know. So the issue with the transmission, the wiper blades suck because it was pouring rain while we were on the way home. Other than that, it was fine the rest of the day. But I got it. I got the car back, even though it wasn't mine in the first place. Got the car back, got the title done. I'm like, now I have a car that sucks. And I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, do I just sell it? Do I trade both of these cars in and get another clunker? So that's the current situation that I'm in. And that was just a fight that I had to deal with on my brain for the last 2 weeks, aside from shooting a wedding last Friday, or Saturday, which is the first of the year. So I was like, that's my world.
Weddings don't occur on Fridays, my guy.
Well, I think I might actually have one later this year that's on a Friday. I know I have one that's on a Sunday. I'm like, oh, why? Like that. I'm like, I hope it doesn't go long into the night. That's the one thing I'm worried about with weddings on Sundays. I'm like, I have to work at 5 a.m. on a Monday.
That's rough.
Yeah. 5 to 9 a.m. every weekday, working at the TV station, floor directing every morning for the news. It's not fun. So, what you got, man?
All right, well, so I got 2 flat tires within 2 weeks. All right. So it's a Friday. I'm delivering pizza at my job like usual, and I'm driving on a delivery, and I run something over, and I hear my tire go completely flat. I'm like, okay, this is great. So I get out. It's like a 3-inch piece of steel straight through my tire.
Jeez.
So I put my spare on, went back, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Same stuff. And then I get it fixed, right? I get a new one, whatever. Yeah. And then like a week later, or like a week and a half later, I'm going to school, and I hit a pothole so big, it probably could have swallowed my car.
That was the actual passage to China.
Yes, I'm pretty sure. And I hit that thing so hard going 60 miles an hour, I didn't know what to do. Like, I feel like I got hit by like Jerome, or not Jerome Bettis, but James Harrison.
Same thing, really.
And that was my luck.
No, where was that pothole though?
Stupid. The pothole was on Route 30. I was going to school for finals week.
Ooh, 30. Was it at like the interchange of 70 or not 70, 62 or whatever?
No,
Or at 77?
no, this was like closer to me.
Oh. Because there's one right at that 30 and 77 interchange. Like, I think if you're coming 30 east to 77 north,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, because that's the way I would go to, like, go up to Malone and then see Abby over there. That interchange right there is that I think they patched it last time I went through, and I was actually kind of glad. And I like yelled. I was like, "Yes!" But that pothole was like the size of my desk, and then it had to have been 4 or 5 inches deep. I'm like, it's been like this since last summer. Can we please get this fixed?
Yeah, I hit that pothole so hard it felt like I got hit by James Harrison.
Jeez. Yeah, that'll knock you out. Of course, anytime
All
I
right.
hit something like that in railroad tracks, I feel like I have a miniature heart attack. Because I feel like the engine's going to fall out of my car. And I was like, oh, my
I don't even
heart just
care
about
anymore.
fell out of my body. So how'd you blow your other tire?
What's that?
How'd you blow the other tire? It was that 2 in 1 hit.
No, I was at work for the first one, and then the second one I was going to school.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you just
It's
had
awesome.
bad luck with tires.
I haven't done anything since. And that pothole was patched. They patched it the next day.
Isn't that how it
Outstanding.
always works, though? You're just like,
Usually.
man, I wish they would patch this. The next day you're like, bruh, like, why? Like, you kind of want to just be like, you know what? There's a cliff. There's no guardrail here at the side of the road. You know, just crank it
See ya.
just yeet right off of the highway here. I'm just going to go ahead and just launch it.
I saw a deer. I had to swerve.
I got to go hit the deer. Oh, that's funny, though. Well, I hit a deer, like, did I ever tell you that? I hit a deer a month after I got my license. In town,
Dang, that
in
sucks.
Wapak. Like, because I dropped my best friend off at his house. It's actually, like, on the same road that I live now, but it's in town because I live just outside town, a little further out on the road. And, excuse me, I dropped him off, and it's a mile from his road to the stop sign in town, that on Glenwood Road, and I'm driving in, and probably a quarter mile away, this dude had been feeding deer, which I didn't think was legal. I was like, okay. So I'm just driving, and it's March, so it's like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So like the sun is still barely up, like it's late dusk. Like I can barely, like the skies still kind of illuminated just a little bit. But I'm driving, pretty much relying on headlights, and I'm driving my mom's 01 or my parents' 01 Pontiac Bonneville. So it's low riding, really wide, kind of flat, but your field of view outside of your A post is not much. So when I'm driving, it's like right at a 40-degree angle. I saw a deer run across the road from the left, so I didn't see it until it was literally just in my headlight view, 5 feet away from me, running across the road, and I had less than a split second to realize, like, boom, and I hit it. I scooped it and launched it 40 feet, probably at least 10 feet in the air, and I'm driving down the road. It's only 35. I'm driving down the road, and I watched it as soon as I hit it, and didn't even budge. My speed kept going. I'm like, I looked at it, I was like, whoa. Like, I turned and looked past the car. I'm like, Mom, I'm like, what? She's like, did you hit a deer? I'm like, yeah, I think so. She's like, well, stop. I was like, oh, true. Okay. So I pulled over because I was like, I was just going to keep going. I get out, the hood's buckled, the front end of the grill's kind of pushed in. It was like $3,300 to fix. So we get out, and the car looks like freaking Bambi on the road trying to get up. And the dude that actually was feeding the deer comes out. And this deer is probably like less than 2 years old, so it's a young one. And the dude comes out onto the road, like sticks it, and he's like, you guys all right? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. Just kind of goes back in his house. I was like, what? Like, what are you, why? Like, what's going on? And so best friend's mom comes down. We call the cops. They come try to help with the deer. We're like, wait, we should get the deer. So we call the deer. A friend of ours guts it, gets this deer jerky and all that stuff. I'm like, I haven't hit any deer since, but I've come darn near close to hitting a few of them.
I hit a deer once.
So, yeah, that's the only deer I've ever hit. I've gotten near a couple packs of deer. I've ran through a family of ducks, hit a flying bird, a dead cat, groundhog, nearly hit a family of raccoons at the end of my driveway this morning. What else have I hit? I know I've hit a couple other things relatively small. Another car. Just kidding.
Another wow.
No, that was just like I wasn't paying attention. Played bumper tag with, ironically, my friend leaving high school my senior year. Like I bumped it. I saw a chunk of the plastic license plate cover fly off. I was like, good thing I stopped. So I get out like, sorry, Dan. He's like, it's all good. So we're like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Let's hop back in our cars and leave.
All right.
But no, I think I've blown, 3 tires? Joel's right front, my left rear. My left front has a blister on the outer sidewall, and that needs replaced sooner. Otherwise, that might be an issue.
Might be an issue?
Yeah,
that will be an issue.
It's just a matter of time.
True.
It is true. I'm probably going to change it tomorrow when I get my oil change. Be like, hey, put a new tire on this. Make sure it's not a Douglas, because those things suck. I've had more problems with Dougs. Anyways, back to the real important stuff. Sports is probably our main topic of conversation over Twitter and Instagram, because we share how many memes and how many... Gosh,
approximately 40,000
per day. Seems like yeah, we like that sports stuff, sports related. Gosh, I literally, that's pretty much all we talk about, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cause like, yeah, the last thing I sent you was a picture of Giovanni Urshela, Jose Ramirez, and Frankie Lindor, and a couple of the guys from the Akron Arrows. That from 5 years ago, and these guys are all playing in the MLB, and 2 of them are freaking 2 of the best Indians to ever play. And your last one's a LeBron quote. We've got stuff from all kinds of things. Regating? What kind of word is that?
Regating.
Regarding the Cavs in the finals. I don't even. I make up words all the time, man. It's not even a
Regarding.
It's a new word, regating.
Okay.
So, but yeah, speaking of the Cavs in the finals, I think you were gonna say. I don't know. Did you say we had something planned or written down? What we were gonna talk about that?
Yeah, LeBron.
That's true. Fire away.
And how he's carrying this entire team.
Yeah, there's so much about this team being compared to the 07 team, the Cleveland Cavaliers team, that about how bad they are outside of LeBron. I'm like, I don't know, because I think overall, like, the gap between LeBron and the worst player on the bench might be bigger, because I think the 07 team, there was more of just average role player guys, but they were all pretty decent.
Yeah.
Because Drew Gooden wasn't terrible. Z was awesome. Booby could shoot. And there's Sasha Pavlovich wasn't terrible. I don't think Anthony Parker was in yet. Holy crap, those
Eric
guys.
Snow.
Yeah, Eric Snow wasn't terrible. But terrible. I feel like I didn't say the B in terrible. But anyways.
Terrible.
But no, these guys, I just feel like there's a huge gap, because like there's LeBron, JR when he's good, Kevin Love.
It's if, not when.
True. He plays like 1.5 quarters a game, every other game. But Kevin Love is like, when he's bad, still makes an impact. It's minor, but still makes somewhat of an impact. And then you really can't name 2 other guys that literally are like, oh, I'm here every game scoring whatever. all
Kyle.
the time. Kyle
about
Korver. Well, yeah, Kyle Korver has been, I don't know if it's just me, he's kind of been asleep for half of the playoffs, it seems like. It hasn't been the regular season Kyle Korver just hawking up threes and making them all the time. It's like, okay, well, he made 2 or 3 this game. It's like, Kyle, where is you?
Yeah, that's the thing. Where are George Hill and Rodney Hood at? Like, why
Rodney
are they
Hood
not?
hasn't done hardly anything, it seems like. George Hill has been near non-existent. Jordan Clarkson's actually been doing some stuff. Like, he's kind of come into it. I think the last series kind of brought out Clarkson a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
We might get swept. We might not.
yeah, well, 4 straight years of playing the Warriors. I don't think that's ever happened where teams have
No.
played 4 years in a row.
Never happened.
Yeah, I know, because I know teams have been to the finals. I think that's probably back in like the Laker-Celtic rivalry days where they would meet a lot. But even then, I don't think any of them met that many times. One of those teams might have made it multiple times in a row like that. But I don't know. It kind of just shows how good LeBron is, though, that at this point, the team, you could literally put a bunch of average Joes. We could probably be on the Cavs. And I don't know about making a better impact than any of the guys on the bench, but LeBron could still carry us to the finals. I guarantee it.
I'd get more minutes than Zizic or whatever his name is. Pretty much.
Whatever his name is?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
The only remaining Celtic that from the Isaiah Thomas trade.
True. Yeah, everybody got shipped.
Good, because they were all cancer.
It's
Jay Crowder, terrible. Cancer. Isaiah Thomas, the definition of cancer.
That's
terrible.
True. The definition of cancer that can score points. Like,
sometimes.
Yeah. It's like, what's he going to do now? Score point? No, he's not going to score. I don't think he, like, after he got traded away from the Cavs, I don't think he really made much of an impact. I was like, are you even playing now? Like, are you there? No. I have a hip problem again. Or whatever it was that he was. I don't know. There's so much about the casting this year that I was like, I literally said, I'm like, if we get out of the East, it's not going to be good. I thought we would get maybe to the Eastern Conference Finals, which it's miraculous that we won Game 7 because that game was just who can mess up the fewest amount of times.
Yeah, that game was terrible.
I was like, my mom was like, "Oh, this game's great defense." I'm like, "Mom, this game's not defensive. It's turnovers and missed shots." Because I think there was one point where cumulative, both teams together were 14 for 66 on threes. I'm like, excuse me?
That is horrible.
I'm terrible at the sport of basketball. As much as I'd like to go out and shoot hoops by myself and live and whatever and just play around, play pickup with people, I am the whitest of the white when it comes to basketball. I can't shoot a lick. I am not accurate, but I might be able to make more than 15 threes in the course of 60 shots, especially from NBA range. I can actually shoot with that kind of power. It's just my accuracy sucks, and I still can probably make more. And you're like, I could do better on a bad day.
Yeah, I could do better with no hands.
just like kicking in, and it's like, oh, I made it from 50 feet. It's like,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's ridiculous. They may win 1 or 2 games.
Maybe.
But
so where's LeBron gonna go?
After this season, I have a feeling he's gonna stay. That's my inkling. It's not just because I love LeBron and I'm a Cavs fan and I want him to stay, but I feel like he will, just because there's no reason for him to go anywhere else. And wherever he would go, it would just mess up the team. Like, if he goes to the Rockets, they gotta fork somebody else up on the bench, and then you've got a bunch of all-stars that already can't play defense, and then all you have is LeBron, who, on a team that shot, I think, the most threes in NBA history in the regular season. LeBron's gonna
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work. The Lakers would be so young that he would be basically resorting to what he did this year in terms of carrying them, because the Lakers weren't good, and the Cavs without LeBron are probably going to be just as bad if that's the case.
What about Philly?
I've heard Philly's more out of the question now because they made such a run that they're like, oh, well, let's throw LeBron into the mix. Like, yeah, that would get them probably to the finals instantly. But they're also saying Ben Simmons is kind of like a LeBron light in terms of he plays the same style of game, just can't shoot threes for a lick.
Oh, he can't shoot at all.
Yeah. And that's even the thing. He can't shoot hardly at all. It's like, okay, well, he shot from 15 feet, fade away, missed it. It's like, but he somehow makes the same kind of impact on the game where he can control the game with the ball.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, it seems like it's narrowed down to Philly, Houston, and LA, obviously. But where do you think he's gonna go? Because I feel like he's gonna stay.
I don't know. Like
the only reason I think the main reason he wouldn't stay is because the Cavs front office is probably about as bad as the Browns were before this year.
Like, they don't know what to do. Like, and if LeBron does leave, that's what will save his face. He's like, oh, I wanted these guys, but they couldn't do anything for me, so I left. You know,
I get you might want to write that down. Wait, we have this recorded. Forget it. He's probably going to say that. I guarantee if he leaves, he will say that. He's like, you know what? He's like, I wanted them to try and get these guys, but they couldn't bring them in, and I wanted to go somewhere that the front office would probably do that for me and help me build a team, even though that would sound super like LeBron GM of himself, which, I mean, that's kind of how LeBron is anyways. He's just like, hey, help me build a team around me so we can get to the finals, so I can be better than Michael Jordan and lose more times in the finals, so I can at least look like I was there more. Like, that's literally what's going to happen.
It's pretty sad he has to ask GMs to build a team.
Yeah, that's bad when you have to ask. Because, like, when he went to Miami, they pretty much had the team already set up for him. And then he goes there, and it's like, oh, hey, you know what? Let's go get this guy and this guy without LeBron even asking. And then, bam, they're in the finals for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, Ray Allen.
Against his run.
Chris Bosh.
And half of those guys were, like, older veterans, too. So it's just like, what?
James Jones carrying the team.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the funny thing is, I think this year will be the first year, because James Jones isn't on the Cavs. This will be the first year that James Jones is not with LeBron in the finals in this 8-year run that LeBron will be in the finals, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, James Jones didn't carry the Cavs this year.
Yeah. It's like, what? I don't know. I want the NBA season to legitimately be over, because in my mind it is over. We're facing death in the face with the Oakland Warriors before they move across to San Francisco and become the San Francisco Warriors, because there's nothing golden about California.
Yeah, we just throw the whole state away.
Forget Cal. If they want to secede from the U.S., go for it. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Golden State, man, they've perfected basketball, and it makes me mad because nobody else has.
It is very annoying.
It's like I understand they're good, and it's like I acknowledge that they're good and they're the best team in the NBA. That's a fact, but it's also like you get to the point where it's like, can you guys stop being so good and let everybody else catch up? Because nobody else has figured it out. And I don't know if it's Steve Kerr or if it's Steph Curry being every little YMCA kid that just hacks up threes within 10 seconds of getting the ball. Like, I don't know what the game plan is for every other team in the NBA to catch up and understand, hey, they're doing something different. We should probably try something. And I think Houston tried, but they just can't make threes because they have no defense. But I mean, if we want to say that maybe Houston even almost got it because they almost beat the Warriors in 7 games, and each game was like back and forth, like each one an away game. Game 7 was relatively close. it's like maybe Houston's the next team to get it, but I don't think any team in the East has figured that out.
No, not quite.
Not yet. It'll be interesting for sure. So, all right. Well, that's our little NBA spiel. But you said the draft. When was that starting?
That's after the
NBA draft.
That's after the finals is over. Hold on.
Yeah, that is June 21st.
So yeah, it's a week after what would be Game 7.
Yeah, if they get there.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that's going to happen.
But yeah, nothing's really interesting with this draft. It's like we all know where everybody's going.
Yeah, and I think that might even be the one thing about the NBA draft that I don't like is everybody that goes into the draft, all these players that come in, they like it seems like nowadays it's a one and done. They play 1 year in college. They're going to the NBA because they think they're the freaking next LeBron James or Michael Jordan, and they need to realize with themselves they're not good at all. And then they get placed into their one spot. It's like It's just it doesn't interest me, even though it's televised. It doesn't interest me because all these guys are way too young, way too inexperienced to be going to the NBA right away. That's my.
I'm older than most of the kids in this draft.
Huh?
I'm older than most of the people in this draft.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, because in theory, you should be a year or two younger than the guys if they played 3 or 4 years in college. Like the guys are closer to my age. I'm 23. Like the guys are closer to my age of guys that are going to the NFL draft and playing the NFL. Like these guys have played and had some experience because you have to wait basically 2-3 years at least, I think, to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
NBA, they're like, yeah, 1 year's fine. Like
I think in the NFL you have to be 3 years removed from
high school.
High school, yeah.
Yeah. Because Deshaun Kaiser went he only played 2 years at Notre Dame. But
maybe he's a year out.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's been out for a year now, so.
But yeah, let's go to the NFL. Let's go to the NFL draft reactions.
Oh yeah, that was
far more interesting.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, there was so much surprise because, first, what did you think was going to be the Browns? And we'll talk Browns because we're both Browns fans and primarily we're just Cleveland all the way.
Yeah.
So, what really was your initial instinct on what was going to happen at 1 and 4?
I was hoping for either Baker or Darnold at 1 or Bradley Chubb at 4. But we saw what happened.
Yep. Baker Mayfield goes number 1, and I was actually surprised. I was like, holy crap, they actually took Baker Mayfield. Because like the whole thing was, oh no, they got Darnold. It's set on Darnold. Now, I don't know, because John Dorsey said he was keeping everything a secret, Hugh Jackson. They weren't going to let anything out. They were not going to leak anything. They were not going to tell anybody what they were going to do. The week before, they said they had their quarterback. And up until, I think, the night before the draft, me, along with, I think, almost everybody else on the planet thought Sam Darnold. After a while, we were just like, It's Sam Darnold. I was like, you know what?
Too.
I like this. I like this. A good guy. He's a really smart quarterback. He's going to be great. Got to give him time in the right system. The Jets might blow it, but
good chance.
Yeah, the Jets are about as bad with quarterbacks as the Browns are. So is Houston, but now Houston's got Watson. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. Blowing up the draft. But I legitimately thought it was going to be Darnold, and then who did I say it was going to be at 4? I thought Barkley could go 4, but the only reason I said that was because I thought it was going to be Darnold, Mayfield, and Rosen 1, 2, 3, and then we were going to get either Yeah, darn it. Saquon. If we were going to Saquon Barkley at 4, or Minka Fitzpatrick was going to be our second option there. But I said if Darnold did not go number 1, I said it's going to be Baker Mayfield number 1, and then we're going to trade down and get Denzel Ward. I got Denzel Ward right. I did not say we were going to take him at 4. I was like, what? We were both legitimately like excited. We're like, holy crap. The Browns drafted an Ohio State Buckeye. That hasn't happened in however long. I don't even know if that's ever happened. The Buckeyes are never drafted by the Browns.
They always get drafted by Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincinnati, New Orleans. So I always say the New Orleans Buckeyes, it seems like, because they have like 10 or 15 of them. I'm like, jeez.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield's college stats their senior year. 70% completion rating. 11 and a half yards per attempt, 12.9 yards per something, 43 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, and a 198.9 passer rating.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
That's perfect.
Yeah, literally.
That's 1 1/10 away from a perfect score.
Yeah, and I think most of those stats are, which I didn't realize up until later on, that like most of those stats were like the best, if not the best stat in college football for a quarterback last year, which I was like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Are you serious?
And the year before that, his junior season at Oklahoma, he threw for 70.9% completion rating, 11.1 yards per attempt, 40 touchdowns, 8 picks, and a 196.4 passer rating.
Yeah, he's an animal nonetheless. And the reason why I think he's going to be great if we don't play him year 1, and I want to plead with Hugh and the Browns coaches, do not play that man year 1. Put him at QB3 regardless. It should be Tyrod Taylor, because Tyrod Taylor is not bad. He carried the Bills to the playoffs last year. That should say enough. Put him in there.
So think about this. Think about this real quick. So Tyrod Taylor takes us to the playoffs this year. Hypothetical, probably not. I'm hoping, maybe not.
Yeah.
He takes us to the playoffs this year. We win 8 games, get the wild card, losing the wild card, whatever. Next year, is he still a starter?
I say you go into all the offseason stuff, he's the starter. But
yeah,
if Baker comes out, I almost think he would next year, if the Browns don't blow it, and if we go with that scenario, I think he comes into preseason QB2, and if he lights it up in the preseason, he might get the starting job. And
that would be nice.
And if anything, I say it's going to be like what a lot of people want this year. And I think a lot of Browns fans are along the same line, which is kind of bad, but at the same point, they're not wrong. And the Browns could probably do this, but this needs to be a year 2 thing. Tyrod, maybe even just like, you know what? Drew Stanton or whatever, he moves on, goes to another team to be another team's backup. Baker moves up to QB2 to start next year. And then Tyrod's like, you know what? You have to be 500 or something like that by week 6 or week 7, something like that. Or like by the first bye week, if it's like week 8 or whatever. So it's like halfway through the season, if he's not 500, Baker's going to start. Which I mean, is be like, you know what? That's like, oh no, the Browns are 3-5. Here comes Baker Mayfield to start. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I would give Tyrod a start. Be like, you know what? You have a 2-year contract. Here's year 2. You got a chance, and if you're not good, we're bringing in the guy that we groomed. Which, because it takes a year to learn the playbooks, anyways, to be your own playbook. And luckily, Tyrod and Baker kind of have similar styles, and they're kind of built really similar, so it should work. But
should.
Yeah, in theory, well, with all the guys that they picked up this offseason, you would think it's like, oh, the Browns shouldn't suck. But they're the Browns. We never know.
That's true.
So, it could be interesting. So,
It'll be very interesting to see what happens.
absolutely. All right. What else did we say we were going to mention? Because again,
We brought up talking about video games.
we're working the kinks out. Yeah, games. That'd be nice. So, we both are on PlayStation 4 on the PlayStation Network. I play a lot of sports games. I don't know if you've seen that just on when you hop on. It's like, oh, hey, look, Bryce is either playing Fortnite or Rocket League, GTA, and Madden, which are primarily my things because I don't. NASCAR Heat 2, as much as I love NASCAR games, can't play it. NBA 2K17, as much as I like basketball games, can't play it. Because I don't know, I just don't get the mechanics, I guess, of the 2K sports. I might try the EA again, see what NBA Live has, see if that's as clunky as it used to be. And MLB The Show, I just don't have 45 minutes of sitting around waiting for one pitch to be good to hit. Like as much as much as I love playing baseball games and the fact that on that game, which I want every game to be like this, you can upload your own music to it. So literally when you're in the menu, you have your music playing. So it's like, it's awesome when I win a game and I've got red going on in the PA system. I was like, you're never going to hear that in Cleveland. And I'm actually kind of amped that I have. It's like, oh, then I get back to the menu and here comes Whispers in the Dark from Skillet. Like,
yeah,
that's like the best thing ever. I was like, this is why I want to play the game, just to listen to my music. Other than that, I'm just like, a game takes 45 minutes. I don't want to sit. I want to swing at everything. And the pitching is really hard. I'm like, hurts my brain.
I threw a perfect game in the minors.
Jeez. I haven't.
Still never got called up.
So like with the road to the show, you made your guy a pitcher?
Yeah.
Huh. See, I would have done right fielder just because that's the position I liked playing the most. Like, just when organized games like school and stuff like that. Like, I would always play outfield because I could run, I could read the ball well. And I was like, it's more just the running thing because I didn't have the reaction time to play infield. So I was like, I want to be in the outfield, so I just go sit out and right because I dive better to my right than I do my left. But
I would always play the hot corner.
Yeah, third base.
I play third base because I crank dingers.
Hey, it's ching. Oh,
Hit a 40 home run season too in the minors.
Jeez. Yeah, you're just like, well, I mean, you're a pretty strong guy though, so it's possible.
Just slapping dingers all day.
Ching. No, I mean, I don't know. I never played Road to the Show. I just never got in time with it because I invested so much in GTA and Rocket League with the new competitive season starting yesterday. Was it? Yeah, it was. No, it was Tuesday. Tuesday started the new competitive season, and I worked. Speaking of Rocket League, I worked so hard last season on the ranking system with competitive. The only reason I play competitive is because I get new opponents every match. Versus when I'm playing non-comp, I could get stuck with the same guys for a match or two unless they leave because they don't want to play me over and over again. I'm like, just stay in the lobby. Let's build up a rivalry. Let's get mad at each other. Like, come on, I want to have somebody to play. But no, I played comp, and I'm best at doubles. But when I have a friend from Canada that we are on the same wavelength in terms of skill, mentality, how we want to play. Like, we talk all the time. Like, and then if we get quiet, we're frustrated or we're having bad games, and it's like, that's bad. But we played 10 straight matches on triples. So we played a couple on doubles to warm up. It's like, okay, doubles, triples, which one do we want to do? And he's like, let's do threes. So we play standard triples, play our 10 matches, and the rankings, I was gold 2 and gold 3 in pretty much most of my playlists with doubles and triples last year. I was trying so hard. We were trying to grind out near the end of the year to get to platinum, and I could not do it for the life of me, and I ended up losing a couple on doubles to got demoted to gold 2. Gold 3, I was like, I know I play better than most of these gold 3 scrubs, and I can't get to platinum because I don't do aerials and stuff. So I'm like, meh. So we play our tank.
I play Rocket League on my Switch.
Jarrett has
so much more
Switch.
fun.
I don't know. Like, he says it's a faster pace. I'm like, I don't know how that would be any different other than the fact that the Switch, the controls are just almost like click ones, and the control and the joystick, it's faster to the edge, so you're like turning faster. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I'm like, I can understand how it's more fast paced, but at the same point, I'm like, it literally just depends on how you play. Because I'm like, I could play that. Because he says like, oh, it's really fast paced. I was like, have you seen me on PS4? I'm running around. I do best when I'm flying around the field, just going full speed almost and stuff like that. I'm like, if you get the timing down, we're scoring goal, 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 goal. I haven't played it on a Switch, and I don't have a Switch, so I don't know.
Yeah, I play mine docked.
That makes
sense. It's a little
sense.
easier. My bad.
I said, don't tell me that was your Switch falling on the ground.
No, that was my
like,
my watch case thing. But anyway,
flexing with your watch, man.
I'm trying not to.
You say try not to, yet your first snap after you get to the store, other than the picture of your microphones that you were choosing from, was the watch. Like, yo, I had money. Like, yeah, you bought an Apple Watch. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, next I better see your brand new white Nike Jordans or something like that. Like, just like, yo, and then like your basketball shorts and your tall athletic socks. I'm like, I better see that, because I'm just gonna be like, yo, what's up? Going out for a walk. I'm like,
I'm gonna show up to a live.
Pulling up in my Maserati really quick, or my YouTube money bought me this Mustang. Like,
true.
Every YouTuber.
YouTube money,
which I make none of.
Well, after this podcast, you're going to.
Yeah, we're gonna be rich. It's this podcast is launching us to fame.
Once we take off, you'll be all right. We'll be living lavish.
We'll be living large. I won't
living like Larry.
Living like Larry. I have not said that in a long time. Then again, it's SpongeBob, and I quote that on the regular because SpongeBob is childhood.
True.
And it's the greatest cartoon to ever exist. And it's unfortunate that it's fallen off the map. That's
like
the one thing I wish was on Netflix. Was SpongeBob.
True.
Because 100%, I would just be like, you know what? Let's start from the beginning. I'm going to watch this. Forget watching Arrow. Forget watching Flash. Forget Legends of Tomorrow for a little bit. I'm watching SpongeBob. It's like nice knowing the world for a few days. I'm going to be out over here in my room watching SpongeBob and enjoying myself.
Dude, Danny Phantom is on Hulu.
What?
Oh,
Danny Phantom was one of my favorite cartoons too. Because they were the same creators that did Fairly Odd Parents, which I love too. My dad loved Fairly Odd Parents as well. But gosh dang it, Danny Phantom was awesome.
Yeah, that show was pretty cool.
There were a lot of good cartoons from those mid 2000s. Yeah, the early 2000s when we were actually young. They had good cartoons, and now all of them today are just, they're not political, but they're darn near. They've run out of jokes. They're very sensitive in what they can say, and then when they do, it's not. I mean, it's borderline crude. It's like, this isn't funny. Like, like Adventures of Gumball is pretty funny. There's only a couple that I like now that are like, oh, this one's actually funny. Like, I like Gravity Falls. But really, there's not. I don't think I've watched a show on Nickelodeon unless it's been one of those cartoons in the middle of the day after work. Other than that, it's like, oh, hey, look, SpongeBob's on, and then it's like, oh, this is a crappy episode. Or it's like Fairly Odd Parents. Is Fairly Odd Parents still going?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because they were recently, like I think it was like a year or two ago, they were still making episodes. I'm like, because they had Poof. So I was like, that helped them prolong that show even further because they're like, oh, hey, we can make this a whole, like they could make a whole new series even just like Fairly Odd Parents, but it's like poof is the fairy for some kid. I don't know if they haven't done that. Writers contact me. We'll get that figured out. Because I would actually be like, is Poof ever gonna learn to talk? Will Poof get anything straight?
Also, another video game thing. The new Spider-Man, pretty good.
I have not. Speaking of I have a Spider-Man GameCube game. Yes, I still have a GameCube, but I have a Spider-Man GameCube game. I don't think I've opened it. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Yeah, I've opened it, but I don't remember the last time I played that, if ever.
Nice.
Now, when did the new Spider-Man game come out?
It's not out yet. It comes out in September.
It will come out in September. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that was about right when Anthem was supposed to come out, when they announced it at E3 last year. And I don't know if you watched the trailer for that or not, but it is... Oh, it's juicy. It's so good. And it's the first game of its kind that I've ever wanted. Like, I haven't wanted Destiny. I liked Halo. Never had an Xbox, so I never played it. But it's like those two are having a child in an open world game, and they pushed it back to 2019. They still don't have an exact date for it yet. I'm like, no, because I asked somebody at GameStop last fall. I was like, oh yeah, I was looking forward to Anthem. I was like, is there pre-orders out for that yet? They're like, no, actually, it got pushed back to 2019 now. I'm like, please do not be one of these games that is in development, gets pushed back, and then just never gets released. Because that happens way more than we think. And I'm like, please. Yeah, I'm actually excited about this game. And it's not a sports game, which is telling you something.
For real.
It's crazy. And I don't know why. I like playing sports games because... And I think it's just the thing with sports is... And maybe you can say something about this, just sports in general. It's the fact that every single game is its own storyline and will have a different outcome. No game is ever duplicated. Every single matchup, every single game, and every single sport is always different. You can have the same scores. You can have a 5-0 game, but how did you get there? Did you have 7 hits? Did you have 16 hits? Did the other team have 2 or 4 errors? Did they have none? Did you almost throw a perfect game? Did you have a no-hitter? Did you get 5 runs on 2 hits because the other guy just went full cancer mode in the 3rd inning and walked everybody? Like, that's what I like about it, and that's why I like Rocket League so much. I think it's every single game and every single day. I could get pissed off one day, and the other day I'm like, dude, I'm the freaking GOAT that can't do aerials, so maybe I'm not the GOAT, but I'm still pretty freaking good today. So it's like, it's different. But that's probably why I like sports games, is just because everything's different. So it doesn't get boring because every single game I play is different.
Yeah.
But if I play GTA, okay, it's kind of the same on GTA because I do races mostly. And on this account, I've done 4,500 races.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, so lifetime I've done pretty somewhere close to like 10,000 races on GTA. But as short as they are, you're fighting for the lead every time, and I win 45% of my races against 16 to 30 other people, which is pretty good. So I'll admit I'm pretty good on it. But you don't finish in first every time. You could get wrecked in the last corner. You could get wrecked at the beginning and have to come back. Or you could just be in the back the entire race and be like, you know what? These cars need to stop running into me because the GTA algorithm is like made to search you out and destroy you. I don't know. That's what kind of games I like. I don't know about you because I never see you online anymore.
My Wi-Fi isn't good enough.
You're like, I'm running off of that Taco Bell Wi-Fi, boy. Potato internet.
Yeah. It is a potato.
I've heard it a couple times where your voice glitches out. It's like, potato. It's like, yeah, there's Robot Nate. So, Yeah.
Little known fact, I'm an Android.
I'm actually an Android. Beep beep boop pop. Don't say that because Apple fans might get mad at you. They'd just be
True.
like, he said Android. And then they just like fizzle out and explode because they're like, I can't comprehend complexity. I'm taking shots, man. I'm sorry.
Dang.
We can save that for another day. All right. Well, I think there's plenty more that we still have yet to get to. We'll have to save that for the next episode in 2 weeks. How's that?
All right.
That'll work. But be sure to like and subscribe below the video here. I will make a SoundCloud, and these will be on SoundCloud every other week starting today. And then I might let you run the Twitter page. I'll let you create one, run it. I'm not good at making a logo, so if you want to have one, I have no idea what we're going to do. I might just be like, hey, here's my logo, use it however you want. Or whatever I make. So we will run with that. Nate, thank you for coming up with this idea. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy doing this. So this will be an awesome time. And yeah, I really don't know how to send this out. Thank you for listening. We will see you in 2 weeks. So
Peace.
Peace.